In this video, we're showing you how you can make 5 animal-themed projects in wood using a scroll saw. Getting straight into it, the first part of the process is your preparation. What we're doing in this particular project is using 2 contrasting coloured pieces of wood. The first thing that we are doing is to drill our holes because we are going to cut the outline of both the top and bottom of our project at the same time. So we screw the 2 pieces of wood together, allowing us to cut that outline on the scroll saw for the 2 contrasting pieces of wood. Once you've screwed those 2 pieces of wood together, our wood is prepared, and now we go on to preparing our designs. So we've drawn them all out on paper. We then cut our paper designs out, glue the back of them. We're just painting the glue onto the back of the designs themselves, wet the wood and stick them down onto the wood itself. For anyone who's new to doing scroll saw projects, before you start, you'll notice on this video I drew a line, and that is marking where there was a little split in the wood itself. So you check your wood over and make sure that there are no problems in terms of splits, knots, cracks, this sort of things that will cause you a problem later on in your projects. Quite often you'll see us using carbon paper to draw our designs on the wood. In this case, we've used the glue to stick them down, but again, you can use the technique that suits yourself best. Moving on to our scroll saw. The question that we get asked the most is what scroll saw do we use and what blades do we recommend? So the scroll saw that you will always see me working on is a Hegner Multicut 2S. Lovely machine, gives you a fantastic finish, and they're very reliable. Our 2 machines that we have, they're in daily use. They do hundreds and hundreds of hours every year, and they've lasted over 10 years. The few issues that we've ever had, we've always been able to get a part to replace them. So yeah, we recommend the Hegner Multicut 2S. The scroll saw blades then that we use, they are Niqua number 9 reverse tooth blades. I find that they give you a good finish on both the top and bottom edges and are ideal for the thickness of projects that we are doing. Most of the work that we do with our scroll saw is with wood that is between 1/2 inch and 1 inch thick. So what you can see us doing with our scroll saw, I just work to the outside edge. So I'm just trying to cut to the outside edge of the line that I've marked. Some people cut to the line itself. There's no right or wrong way. Again, find the technique that suits you best. For this project then, we've screwed the 2 pieces together, but we haven't glued the 2 pieces together at this stage. Now that's because our top piece of wood, we are going to be doing all of our pierce work in that top piece. The bottom piece is our contrasting coloured piece of wood, and we don't do any pierce work in this because we want that contrasting colour to shine through in our finished design. So as you can see, we cut all around the outside, just working to the outside edge of the line that we've marked, and this gives us the flat outline profile of our animal projects. Now, one thing to emphasize, projects like this, the most important thing is that they're great fun. We really enjoy doing projects like this, and we enjoy being able to share this with yourselves. So hopefully you'll be able to take the ideas that we've shown you, apply them to what you do, and then adapt them to your own style, your own interests, and develop them in a way that you feel is best. There's no sort of right or wrong. There's not a right way of doing things and a wrong way of doing things. do it the way that suits you and develop these projects however you would like. So now we have finished cutting that basic outline profile, we focus upon our pierce work. So you can see us preparing for the pierce work. So you drill all of those internal holes. And it's the pierce work that is going to give these particular projects the most interest. One of the things I tried to do with this project is to focus it more towards pure scroll sawing. So in a number of the other videos that you'll have seen me demonstrating, I've shown you how to incorporate wood carving skills into your project. The nice thing with this is it is more geared towards those who are only interested in scroll sawing, because there is no carving required. You will see us doing one little bit of carving later on, but we'll explain that when we get to it. Once we've drilled all of those holes, we then go on to doing our pierce work. And those gaps, those holes in the designs, that is really what gives the project itself its real flair, because they will allow our back piece of wood to show through, so you will see that beautiful contrast. If you're interested in projects like this, I would recommend choosing animals that have contrast in them. So on screen you'll see us doing the tiger, so you have that contrast between the stripes that the tiger has. You could try things like leopards or zebras, any animals or any figures or any scroll saw projects that have those two colours within it. And that then for me is the real essence of this project. It's all about contrast, contrasting colours, contrasting layers. How do you give your work an extra dimension? So by using these two contrasting pieces of woods, contrasting depths, you can give your scroll saw work and your scroll saw projects a completely different dimension. The pierce work is really where our Hegner Multicut 2S and Niqua number 9 reverse tooth blade combination really come into their own. It's a good combination for this type of work. One thing we were asked recently is to do with pinned blades. Now that is the problem. With a pin blade, you need a bigger hole. What I would suggest is that you make your whole project larger to cater for the pins on the blades. But with the Hegner Multicut 2S, the blades are without pins, meaning you can do finer work and smaller holes ready for doing that pierce work. The Niqua number 9 blade, as we mentioned earlier and in this video as well, it gives us that fine finish on both the top and bottom edge, meaning that we do not have as much work to do later on in regards to sanding and finishing. Focusing again on this particular video and these animal themed projects, it's worth emphasizing that we're only doing the pierce work on the top piece of wood. So in order to get the best effect from your work in this particular project, it's important to remember that you cut out those two pieces, the top piece and the back piece, the outline together. When you go on to doing your pierce work, you are only doing that on the top piece. So for anyone who's new to scroll sawing, that is one of the most important parts of this particular project. It's also worth noting that when we're doing projects and when we're doing demonstrations and scroll sawing, as we go along, we adapt what we're doing. For instance, you will see me cutting the eyes of the cow and the tiger. You'll see me cutting those bits out. Now that's a decision that was taken as you are doing the project. So the choice was made that it would be nice to bring a third colour using a third piece of wood. So in this case we used a piece of teak for the eyes, our backing board was a piece of mahogany, and our top board was a piece of chestnut. So it's worth taking that on board, that as we go through these projects we adapt and we evolve and we change. So whilst we have a plan, whilst we use guidelines, we're also open and flexible to altering things to improve it as we go along. Now, once we've finished with our scroll sawing, we look at putting our two pieces together. So we use our super glue, and the super glue we apply to the top piece where we've done our pierce work. Put it on so you get a good covering, and you're trying to line up the top piece with the bottom piece as close as you possibly can. We then stick those eyes on the tiger and the cow as well. And after that, we're onto our sander. There's a couple of things we want to do here. We want to thin down the top layer so the bottom contrasting wood comes through. Take out those paper marks as well and leave ourselves a nice finish overall. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is the one project that I did do a tiny little bit of carving, just to demonstrate a different process, how you can carve the eyes into the design as opposed to sticking them on as we've done with the tiger and the cow. So after we've done our scroll sawing, after we put the pieces together and sanded everything nice and smooth, as always, we're on to the process of finishing. We add 3 coats of shellac sanding sealer, rubbing it down with a finishing sandpaper, a P240 or above, to get a nice smooth finish and to bring out the grain. So there you go, 5 fun animal themed scroll saw projects. Let us know in the comment section which one of those is your favourite and which one do you plan on having a go at making yourself. Thank you all again for watching, and as always, we'll be back again soon with more videos.